content.
Right. But I mean, I do love the fights on One Piece though. Like, I mean, especially, I just love the fights. I mean, the Luffy fights, the Zoro fights, the Sanji fights.
Yeah, because all their different type of
Exactly. And it's
powers and stuff is so wild when you see that come together.
Right. And
yeah.
And it's very, a lot of times, like take Ronin Warriors, for example, the 5 of them will go meet up with the people. And then it's just like, we're fighting, pretty much 5-on-5 almost every single time. Even with like Sailor Moon, it's like, all 5 of us meet this central enemy and then, we hash it out. But in One Piece, I really like how he always splits them up, because if he had them all together, it would just be a mop up session. Like it would just be so he like finds clever ways to like separate them so that they have to figure it out for themselves, and they do. Even Usopp, who at the beginning is so weak, even he has his abilities, and it's like I really like that attention to character detail. Like that was another thing in Naruto. Like everybody didn't get shine. Like, Naruto, of course, got shine, and Sasuke, but plenty other people, they don't, like Neji, he only fights like 3 times, like the whole series, and dies one of them, but, I mean, and Dragon Ball Z, same way, Goku gets all the shine.
And you can take a drinking game for all the times he gets killed.
Well,
him and Krillin.
I was going to say, if you add Krillin in there, you'll probably die from alcohol poisoning. So... Okay, so what got you into moving? Because I could talk anime all day.
Yeah, me too.
I could talk it all day. So I'm gonna force myself to transition. So, I see. Like, how long have you been doing photography?
Photography, actually, it's going to 3 days ago. Actually, was 3 months.
Okay, so
it's been 3 months for me right now.
So this is a brand new,
brand new
undertaking for you.
Thing. Yep.
And so you just were like, hey, I could do that too, or?
Well, I have a lot of friends who are really amazing artists. A few in particular that I look up to a lot is Graham Morrison, Sean Lewis, and my girl Morgan, which her handle is Kitty Cats Go Mew. And they are just so incredible, and I just love the way that they tell a story in their work and the way that, like, their editing style and whatnot. And, just talking to them, getting advice on how to start. They were just really awesome and really accepting. And eventually I was like, hey, I think I'm going to try this out too, because I was just so inspired by the work that they did that I wanted to start doing photography for myself.
I saw at one point, and I tried to go back and find it, you had made a post about being somewhat criticized for your work, or you felt like it wasn't being appreciated. But I couldn't see, maybe what you were referring to.
Well, with that whole ordeal, when I first started off, like my very first shoot, I got a lot of backlash from this really popular artist who went out of his way to like screenshot my Instagram page and whatnot and say that I was like copying his work.
Does this artist have a name?
I don't know if I can put him on blast like that, because we were just trying to, I had a thing where I talked with him and, came to an end.
Y'all squashed it.
Yeah, we squashed it.
Okay.
But yeah, that was pretty heavy, because he was trying to say that I was stealing his work, but for me to do that, I'd actually have to take his actual photos and say that I took those photos, but that wasn't the case.
So he felt like maybe some of your work was very similar to things that he did, and he felt like, you were...
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a lot of photographers who are, vixen photographers and whatnot. So that's not something that you can claim for yourself.
I mean, photography, period. I always feel we didn't invent this shit. Like, I mean, photography's been... I'm a super amateur photographer. I would never go into it professionally, but I do like to take pictures. Some people do offer me money, and I do accept it to photograph them. But taking pictures of people is my least favorite thing. I like to take pictures of scenery and architecture and like abandoned buildings.
Yeah,
graffiti.
see, I did that a little bit in high school with like my old film camera.
Right.
And messed around with that in the dark room.
Right. See, that's what I would like to get into, just as a hobbyist. But one thing I always tell people is nobody can do anything how I can do it. So I mean, I don't. When you're just trying to express yourself, I just feel like, the worst thing you can do is try to tell somebody, hey, don't express yourself.
Yeah, because I think with, the stuff that we do, like as artists and whatnot, my thing with that is I'd rather, create, collaborate, express, instead of, a few people, they just try and make it like too competitive and more about like bashing each other and who can get to the top. And to me, like, this isn't a competition. This is just a way for me to express who I am, what I love, and to work with amazing people and make amazing friends.
I mean, that's what art is, I thought.
Exactly.
That's what I thought art was. Like, I mean, in whatever you consider your art, I thought that was the exact reason that people did whatever they consider their art. But I don't know if it's like a global thing. I know certainly. You from Charlotte?
Yes, I'm from Charlotte.
Okay, so definitely here. It just seems like
it's a lot of tension.
It's a lot of tension.
Unnecessary tension. And
there's always like, this and I enjoy competition because at the end of the day, like, I would say that, my podcast got better because other people started having one. So it was just like, okay, I heard yours and, and after comparing it to mine, now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to, that's what inspired me to do all the, to play around with mine because it wasn't just like listening to myself. Like, when I first started, I didn't know very many other people who had one. But as I, continued along, I met other people and people, decided they wanted to do one too, just because, it's very easy. It's very easy. If you're listening, it's not hard. It's very easy. You can have one too, and I'm not going to feel any kind of way. In fact, I would be, I would support you, invite you on my show, and even help you. I've helped people, they listen to me and they're like, hey, can you help me set it up? I don't know much about editing and this, and I don't know much about that. And I'm like, yeah, I'll swing through. You got some food, you got some brews. You're going to put something in the air. Like I'm not even taxing. My friends used to be like, yo, you should like, have a service where I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. But if you're going to feed me and smoke me out, then.
See, that's how I am, man. If you got food, I'm in.
Right. So, I'm super easy. So, and I hate when I see people and they're like, hey, I'm just trying to do me, and other people are giving me a hard time about it. Instead of that, because that was an opportunity to be like, hey, I see, you're just starting out. Let me,
Yeah.
How about we meet up?
And see, like I got both sides. Like first starting off, I got that kind of criticism about the first photo shoot that I did. It was a Vixen shoot, and some people got, I don't know, a little bit upset about it because they're like, man, everyone's trying to be a photographer doing this, blah, blah, blah.
There are a lot of photographers, though. Shit.
There's a lot. And before you were even born, there was people shooting naked women. So,
What is Vixen photography?
Well, Vixen photography, like that stuff that you see, in Skin Magazine, Maxim, where it's like, super babes with the lingerie or like implied stuff like that, swimsuits. That's like the type of.
So that's your preferred style?
No, that's just what I did starting off.
Okay.
And then after that, I branched out. My dad actually used to be a photographer in the 70s, and he has all of his film equipment in the attic, and I started messing around with that. And so I was like, hey, man, like I know a lot of other film photographers who are really awesome. I spoke with my buddy Sean Lewis and called him. I was like, hey, man, I know you're a film photographer. Like, can you help me out and like get started? And he was like, yeah, I can show you. So we went off to Big's camera, got some film, got a model out, and he was an amazing instructor, mentored me, got me started doing film. Then with that, I started doing portraits and stuff like that. And mostly now I've been doing film more than digital. I've actually loved that more than working with my Nikon.
What kind of Nikon do you have?
I have a Nikon D5300.
It sucks that I don't know the model number, but I also have a Nikon D5300, I believe. You with the swivel back, right?
Yeah, and you can record and stuff with that little lever. Yeah.
So it's the same one. And it took me a long time to like get the ins and outs of it, but I'm pretty good with it. And I love using it. I don't have as many. That's like on my Christmas list. So I'm I'm definitely going to start like a Christmas list. So if any sugar mamas want to, you know, spot me some camera equipment, you know, I'll gladly say thank you. I need some lenses. I need, you know, I got some lights and backdrops that I haven't even used yet, just because like I got them with the intent to do like graduation photos or like maternity photos, but it's so hard like dealing with people's schedules. Like this is an undertaking for me. And I'm only able to do it, like when I say this, I'm talking about this podcast, as far as people's schedule, because I just threw such a wide net out. Like, you know, hey, you know, whoever has some time, you know, just whoever has some time. But when dealing with photography, like trying to get people like, you know, on the same page and trying to get, you know, it just always was, you know, is an issue. And that's just because people just, you know, they have in their mind how they want that picture to be. And they already know, like, I'm going to post this on Instagram and get this many likes. So if you start fucking up that vision, then, you know, you start dealing with somebody who becomes very irate and unhappy. But I do enjoy, like, I lived in Wisconsin for a while. And these two guys, they're still very much heavy into photography and film and cinema photography as well. But they took me a lot of places. And in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee specifically, there's a lot of like old buildings, like, you know, like castle-like, so they just, you know, took me through, you know, various places. So I definitely enjoy. I have a lot of fun taking pictures and just playing around with them, editing them. Like there's so many pictures like in my computer that I've never done anything with. I mean, I've edited them and I've played around with them, but I mean, I just like to look at them from time to time. At one point, I was going to pursue photography, but it is becoming very saturated. I mean, and especially now, you can be a photographer. I mean, there's certain photographers who only shoot on their iPhone. You know, they only shoot on, you know, an iPhone, and they're being paid. You know, like certain publications are paying them tons of money.
I know, like these people getting famous on Instagram for just all this little stuff that they do on their iPhone. Right. And I'm like, man, why can't that be me and get that easy money? Easy money, thousands of dollars.
And I mean, so it's just like, I mean, to me, it's just like, damn, it's just technology has made certain things just too easy. Like, I mean, you know, the camera on this phone can compete, you know, with my Nikon.
And now I forgot which smartphone it is, but I was seeing some advertisements where they had like these little lenses that you can put on your smartphone to make it like a Nikon or a Canon.
Oh yeah,
and shoot like that.
Oh yeah, I mean
that's nuts.
Yeah, they got those for pretty much any kind of phone, especially iPhone. I mean, there's a lot of lens attachments for iPhone where you can put like fish lens and wide angle and zoom and just it's crazy things you can do with your phone. So I wish I had known that before I spent about, you know,
$800-900
somewhere in there, because I got the kit. I got it from, I was working at Best Buy, and so I also got the 3-year protection, but I got that at a super discounted rate. But got the box, got the bag, backup battery, you know, I spent about $900. Whereas now I could have spent that so much better and got like so much more smaller equipment. But it is what it is. So where do you see, I mean, like, is this something that you're like pursuing professionally? Like, is this like, okay, I'm a photographer now and that's what I'm going to be? Or is this just like, you know, a moment in time?
Well, my degree is in broadcast journalism, so I mean, I wanted to do something in that field, but I'm very passionate about photography. Like when I started this out and I discovered things in myself, I discovered things with people and whatnot, and just the all around, like, yeah, you get, you know, hackled and whatnot, but at the end of the day, for me, it's just been so much love, so much support. I've learned so much, and, you know, I sit and think, and I'm like, I would really love to do this, you know, professionally as a job if I could. You know, some places that I've applied to and whatnot, but hopefully one day I'm hoping to, you know, network with enough people and, get those connections out there where